Hey y'all, it's your girl 𝒊𝒏𝒂𝒊𝒏 back with another video on today. Okay, and I want everyone to gather around, you over there, yes, you as well, gather around, because as you can see from the title, I'm here to talk about a taboo topic for some people, which is astrology, in honor of Astrology Day, which is today. Okay, the reason I decided to really sit and talk about this topic is because today's video is sponsored by Keen. If you guys don't know, Keen is a website platform that focuses on astrology-based concepts, but they're more known for their directory of advisors, okay? What do I mean by advisors? What is she talking about? As in, like, people who give you readings, like tarot readings, love and relationship readings, psychic readings, all of the things. Oh my gosh, what? Yes, that. But online, in honor of Astrology Day, they allowed me to get a reading for free and see what the platform is like, you know, do a little perusing and exploring. And then I get to share my promotional link with you guys, and you can go check it out and get yourself a 10-minute reading for $1.99, which is wild because the readers on there do sessions for like $10 a minute. I was like, oh my God, y'all. How accurate must you be if you're charging this much money? So you can go and sample the vibe, $1.99, get you a 10-minute reading, see what that's hitting for. We'll get more into that later. But yes, after exploring and having the reading, I was like, let me really sit down and talk about just astrology in general, because I know people hear about it and they kind of raise an eyebrow. They're like, you talking about Miss Cleo? Call me now, you know? Or they may focus solely on zodiac signs and horoscopes, and they'll be like, well, how is any of that realistic? I don't believe it. You need more people. And I feel the need to set the record straight and clarify what astrology actually is, and help you guys recognize that not everyone really knows what they're talking about, though they may be spewing concepts and vocabulary words. They don't actually know what those words are referring to. And so it gives the whole school of thought a bad name, in my opinion. So let's just set the record straight. Let's clear it up. Let it rain, clear it out. Okay, so circling back, I got my reading from someone named Chelsea Starr, and the whole experience is really interesting to me because I've gotten readings before, but it was from someone who I know personally, human to human, face to face. So the whole idea of being able to call someone or just chat with someone on the website was like, kind of seemed weird. So I wanted to try it out and see what that was about. So I spoke to Chelsea, and I chose her because she reminded me of an auntie. She had the auntie vibes in her pic. I was like, okay, girl, hello. It was cute because it was kind of like, you know, when you go on the customer service for a website and you hit up the live chat and you just bloop, hit them up and someone is there, and it's kind of like that. So I hit her up and she's like, hey girl, how you doing? What do you need to know? And then I just threw a question out just to test the waters. So I'm like, hey, you know, tell me about my career or something. And then all she did was, you'll see like the 3 dots loading, and she'll just be like shuffling her cards, like shuffle, 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 okay? And then she'll pick a card, like boom, okay, well, for your career, according to the Son of Pentacles, it's looking like you need to do a little bit more heavy lifting and be a little bit frugal with your coin. Stop spending so much money and do some hard, you know, it'll be like that. So let me be clear. People hear about readers and they think it's supposed to be something where you sit down, someone rubs a crystal ball, they tell you your future and all of the detail. No, that's not how it works. It's really just someone is picking up on the energy that you're putting down, and then they give you insights as to what that can play out into, or what you might want to adjust in order to change that outcome. It's more like that. It's not intended to be like, here's exactly what's going to happen on this day at this time, and be there or be square. Think of it kind of like speaking to a therapist, not in the mental health sense, but in the sense that you have a non-biased party helping you you sort through your thoughts, maybe see another perspective that you may not have been considering. Sometimes when you're speaking to the average person, they don't see any value in this kind of topic, and so you might have things on your chest that you want to express, but they don't view things in that way, so it's kind of like you're speaking to a brick wall. Whereas when you speak to a reader, this is someone who specializes in that space, who channels spiritual energy, and they do it in a way that makes you feel at ease. Kind of like a priest, you go to a confessional, get it all off your chest and get a little feedback. It's like that. You should never be going into a reading like this expecting this person to tell you exactly what to do with your life. So yes, moving forward into astrology and what that even is. Basically, astrology is just the study of how the celestial bodies, everything outside of Earth and in the universe, in the galaxies around us, how their movements and interactions correlate to our experience here on Earth. So it's like the other side of astronomy, which is focusing on the movements of the planets and the stars. It's telling you how those things interact, and then astrology would be telling you how those interactions affect you. Typically, people would accept astronomy, but the concept of astrology, people tend to be resistant because they're like, why would anything happening out there have anything to do with me? You know? But I challenge you to consider, why is it that you can accept that the things that happen outside of this planet affect us in certain spaces and in others they don't? For example, we could acknowledge that a woman's monthly cycle is directly correlated to the movements of the moon. The tides in the ocean are correlated to the movements of the moon, which is outside of this planet. We can accept that the only reason we are tethered to Earth is because of its gravitational pull. Because though you cannot see it, it is felt. If you can accept that things like the moon affect you, then why is it so far-fetched to consider that, maybe these other planets have things going on with them that correlate to this planet as well? We know that the solar system operates in the way that it does, but we don't want to accept that the other parts of the solar system have any correlation to Earth, but they all work together. So because I have that kind of thought process, the concept of a psychic medium or a tarot reader, things like that, it makes sense to me. Aside from picking up the energy that you emit, they're also considering what is taking place cosmically. What are the movements indicating as above, so below? How would that have an impact on you? To me, it's kind of arrogant to assume that your experience here on Earth has nothing to do with anything else but Earth. It's kind of like when people feel extraterrestrials don't exist because you don't see them. It's like, just because you don't see something doesn't mean it does not exist in the world. You need ET to be directly face to face before you believe it to be a concept? You think we live in a universe where within one galaxy, surrounded by trillions of other galaxies, and each galaxy has several solar systems, several planets, several things going on. So we're around trillions of galaxies, but you believe Earth is the only place that has life on it? Believe that none of those things have an effect on you? It's interesting. We all watched The Matrix, but we forgot about how significant Neo's encounter with the Oracle was. Why were they so pressed to meet with the Oracle? Just because she was the homegirl? No, because she was about to present some insights that, because they are not as channeled to the spiritual information, they go to someone who is. They have her assist in that clarification process. The truth of the matter is, we are all cosmically connected and channeling spiritual energy. There is a reason why religious denominations are all describing astrological concepts. When you think of the zodiac signs and people are like, oh, I'm a Cancer, I'm a Sagittarius, ooh, I don't mess with Scorpios, I don't like them. The truth of the matter is, zodiac signs are just names and personifications of the constellations. not necessarily a personality trait. Ultimately, the people who even came to the conclusion of giving these concepts names and storylines, that is just all to give us a shared language so that we can describe our collective experience. Never forget what the story is actually talking about. It's all talking about things that happen above us. Like, we forgot that the ancestors used to refer to the sun as God. God's son, son of God. They were talking about the literal sun in the sky because their belief was the sun is the source of life. It nurtures life here on earth, and therefore it is powerful and has significant influence over what we experience here in the physical. We've forgotten that all of these deities that you see in different religions are personifications of things that you observe in nature. There's a reason that the Dogon tribe was able to recognize and define astrological principles without access to our modern day technology. They were spiritually in tune and they were connected to the elements of nature. They were paying close attention. And that's why all these years later, all of their findings are still proven to be accurate to this day. How is that possible? There is a reason why so many of our major holidays align with astronomical principles. For example, Christmas. That's an easy one. We, due to religion and just all types of storylines that we've created around that time, people have associated Christmas with the birth of Christ, right? Generally. When in actuality, that story is describing the winter solstice. That's why when you look at all the religions across the board, they all have a deity or a prophet or a representative for that time. Like they'll have Jesus. Our ancient Kemetic religion had Horus. In India, they have Krishna. They have Dionysus. They have Mithra from Persia. All of these names and storylines have the same description. You don't have to believe me. Look it up for yourself. Look into the connection between Jesus, Horus, Krishna, Dionysus, and all of the other religious representatives that all have the same birth story. Why do they all have that same story but different names? Because they're all describing the same concept, but you have to make your God in your image and likeness. So religions give it a description that matches their culture, but we're all talking about the same things. Today is Astrology Day, March 20th, but it's also Spring Equinox, which is what? The first day of spring. And in many cultures, this is recognized as the official start of the new year because as you see in nature, that's when things start to bloom. All of these astrological principles are just observations of things that we see in nature all around us. And even if you don't see it, that doesn't negate its effects on what takes place here. So all of that is my long-winded way of saying Happy Astrology Day. Shouts to Keen once again for sponsoring this video. Definitely check out the link in my description box so you can get your 10-minute reading for a nice discount. Check it out. Get you some. Keep an open mind when you're being exposed to concepts that you don't fully understand. Open yourself to learning a little bit more about it. Don't just dismiss things. There's a reason that so many cultures have been practicing these things for generations. It's not just out of nowhere. There's an origin to everything, so dig deep. Look for the root. And for people who run around in the world and they're like, this zodiac sign this and this zodiac sign that, I invite you to really do a deep dive and really research what each of these zodiac signs is actually talking about. Don't focus on the personification of them. Focus on the constellation and what those mean. And then you'll realize that it doesn't make sense to go around defining everyone based off of their zodiac sign alone. Like that on its own isn't the full picture. That's just a very small sliver. There's more to it than that. I used to do stuff like that too, so I'm not above it. And it was because I didn't really understand what I was talking about. It wasn't until I actually learned, oh snap, the zodiac signs are constellations? It wasn't until I learned that I realized, oh, okay, so there's more information for me to unpack that I didn't realize was even there. Okay. It's okay to be skeptical. It's okay to not agree with things, but definitely keep an open mind and put some respect on it, because just because you don't get it doesn't mean that it's complete grounds for dismissal. Put some respect on it. So with that being said, happy Sunday. Enjoy your spring equinox transition. Enjoy your reading for astrology day. I'm gonna get out of here. Thank you for watching, and I'll see y'all in my next video. Bye.